How many of you, when you were growing up, dreamed that one day you get to be a salesperson? You? Yeah. You mean this wasn't you here? Well, can I speak to the person in charge of... Now here you are when you realize prospects don't always call you back. Here's the big hint of the day, folks. You're either in sales or you're wrong. What are you selling? I think you're selling yourself all the time. I think that you're selling, well, here, if you're looking for a job, you're definitely selling yourself, right? I think that you're selling your boss on your new ideas, on your capabilities, on your abilities, on your ideas. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. Your employees. You know, you can walk in and you can tell people, hey, you better do this because I'm the boss. Or if you're smart, you figure out how to sell them on your idea and on the vision so that people want to follow you. I think you can sell your product, your service, your kids. How many of you have kids? These are mine. That's Zoe on the right, Jordan on the left. That was the best $400 spa experience of my life. I got sold that day. See, kids learn at a young age that life is all about sales. I mean, think about this. If you've got a young kid, you've been in the grocery store lately, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're rolling around in the cart and picking stuff out in the aisles, and your kids are going, Daddy, I want a candy bar. No, you don't. Daddy, really, no, I want a candy bar. Well, you're not getting one. Dad, I want a candy bar. And they don't stop, right? Give me a candy bar. What do you think my kid's closing ratio is, by the way? I'll tell you, it's about 97%. Because 97% of the time, they know to ask me for something rather than their mom. And the 3% knows when I'm out of town. But kids understand this. And I'm challenging you to think about your own life and think about the type of passion that you had when you were a child to go after what it was that you wanted. If you're not getting what you want in life today, it's because you're probably not asking for it. So I'm going to challenge you to go back after our time together today, determine what it is that you want, and then go ask. But I'm going to tell you how as well. I'm going to share with you a couple of facts. And they're facts, and you know they're facts because I put the word facts on a slide. Number one, nothing happens until a sale is made. That's somewhat of a loose quotation from Red Motley in the 1940s. Actually, the way Red said it was that nothing happens until somebody sells something. But either way, it all starts with a sale. So you can have the greatest product in the world. You can have the greatest idea in the world. You can have the greatest service in the world. You can have the greatest company in the world. But if you can't sell it, you're not in business. So it's this sale, this concept of selling, that actually gets that ball moving or gets the wheel turning. Here's another fact. I won't remind you why you know it's a fact, but here we go. Before anyone wants to buy what you're selling or is willing to buy what you're selling, they have to buy you first. You've heard these things, people buy from people, or people buy from people they like. Well, that's true, but there's actually additional elements to that. And in order for somebody to be willing to buy from you, there's 4 elements that have to exist. If they like you and they believe you and they have confidence in you and they trust you, then maybe they'll buy from you. Now, out of those 4 elements, who thinks that like is the most important? Who thinks, okay, there's one. Who thinks that confidence is the most important? Who thinks that belief is the most, who thinks that trust is the most important? Well, you're all wrong. See, it's like. If they don't like you first, there's no way that they're ever going to consider whether they believe you or have confidence in you or whether they trust you. It all begins with like. I mean, think about this. You're single, you're going out on a date, you come back home, you turn to your roommate and you go, you know, I didn't like that guy, but boy, did I trust him. You think he's got a shot of a second date? No way. It all starts with like. And now might be a good time for you to look in the mirror and determine whether you are likable. See, if you're likable and you begin every sale or every conversation or every new adventure, it could be, at a networking event with a smile and a likability factor that's like 11 on a scale of 10, you're in good shape. And people will buy you. So first, you got to sell yourself because your prospect has to buy the salesperson or buy the person first. The Babe is known or was known for being the home run king forever, right? That was his record. But he also held another record that very few people know about, or at least very few people will even talk about at the time. So most home runs, what's on the other hand? Most strikeouts. In the late 1930s, A reporter approached Babe after having struck out 3 times in a row at a game and said, "Babe, how do you get the courage, the moxie, the chutzpah to get back up again and get back into that batter's box?" And he just sort of looks over at this reporter with a grin and he says, "You know, it's the law of averages. You see, I know that I'm going to hit a home run 2 out of 4 times, 3 out of 5 times, depending on what the season is. I can just go look at the back of my own baseball card and I know what my batting average is. And every time that I strike out, I'm just getting 1 step closer to a home run. So I sort of thank that pitcher for striking me out because I know, oh, thank you. I'll try that again in a little bit." And so I'm challenging you to take a lesson from Babe Ruth in your own life. And every time somebody strikes you out, every time somebody says no to you, every time somebody tells you not yet, or call me next week, or send me your brochure, or I'm not interested, you thank them. And you thank them for saying no specifically because you're just 1 step closer to hearing a yes. Harvard Business Review puts out these studies once in a while, and they'll tell you it takes 7 no's to get to a yes. I don't know who the heck comes up with these numbers anyway. I think 74, or was it 76% of the statistics out there are lies. I don't remember the number. But the point is this. The point is that there's some finite number of no's that it's going to take you to get to a yes. It's the law of averages in your own business, in your own life, in your own profession. And when you figure out what that number is, realize that odds are you're giving up somewhere about halfway there. So if it takes 7 no's to get to a yes, odds are you're giving up at 4. And I think you owe it to yourself to point back to Babe Ruth and think about the fact that he got back in the batter's box and you should be and could be doing the same. I'm going to leave you with a final quote that I live by, and it's something that the Chevrolet Motor Company invented in the 1940s, and then somehow it's disappeared. It was their mantra, and I've even called them today. They don't know about it. But it's the coolest thing on the planet, and I think it's the most important thing in sales and in life. Ready? Never forget a customer. Never let a customer forget you. That is the secret to selling. So I'm challenging you to go out there, reach out, and sell something.